I'm the founder of an organization called WeDeepen.com. We curate all types of social and transformational experiences that help people have more meaningful, loving relationships. And we also produce some of them ourselves. We do Relate Fest, Relate Week, Shop and Shag, um, and then we run a love club. The Love Club is a 6-month intimacy accelerator that 36 people in each cohort run, or that we do together. And it's an intimacy accelerator that includes peer-to-peer matchmaking, uh, comprehensive relationship education, and accountability to one's love goals. So we curate all types of social and transformational experiences. That is on a full spectrum. So I've done stuff in politics, how do we inject love into politics, as well as erotic wellness. And we work with kink educators and pro dominatrix. One specifically is Kimmy Inch, and she has a program called Something More, which is a 4-day immersion into the art of BDSM, sacred sexuality, and people learn to flog and do shibari and tie each other up, and you learn about your erotic blueprint. Similar to, oh, yeah, we know about, a lot of people know about these days, is the 5 love languages. There's also the 5 erotic blueprints, which is uh, sexuals, sensuals, kinky, shapeshifters, and energetic. And as you understand more of what your own unique blueprint is, you get to practice and explore your sexuality. We have spaces for people to be able to do that in a classroom style together. And then play parties. Play parties are becoming a big trend these days, and opening people up to having new experiences. And for me, I believe I come from a household where my father cheated on my mother, and love was a little bit in question of like what is love. My dad came to me when I was 17 and sat me on the steps of our childhood home and told me that he didn't love my mom anymore, which was really confusing. And now these play party spaces help couples who have been together for longer periods of time to explore intimacy together, in safe environments where there's a community around you that's supportive of having your coupledom thrive. Like seeing your commitment is um, is important and valuable, and they're there to help you stay together and also help you have erotic experiences. All relationship styles are welcome at We Deepen. The Love Club is specifically designed for those who are currently single or in an open relationship or poly. I do an interview with everybody, so I get to dive in to make sure that the container of your relationship, if you are poly or in an open relationship, that if it's stable enough, and I believe that, you know, everybody has a different, what they call in cocoon. Different cocoon is what you're here to heal this lifetime. And a lot of us in relating to one another definitely have a different spiritual journey that we'll go through with intimacy and love. And I am not one to, confine it to any one way that you are to relate to each other. Sometimes people are practicing intimacy, or I'm sorry, practicing polyamory. Sometimes people are practicing polyamory. And it's really dating. Like they're just in a phase of dating and they're labeling it as polyamory. Some couples who have been together for a significant period of time, they want to open up and explore other depths of intimacy, but that relationship stays secure, intact. So I have no qualms about what everyone wants to practice, and we welcome everybody into the space who wants to authentically express and practice love. Yeah, so my work initially began in dating. From 2014 to 2016, I ran a dating experience in New York City. And 2 years into doing that, I realized, like, my initial thought, I was rebelling against dating apps. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to participate. I thought, let's just get a bunch of dope people into a room and we'll facilitate activities and then we'll all live happily ever after. 2 years into doing it, I was like, wow, this problem in dating is much bigger than just getting them into a room. First, bonds build best over time. So you need people to see each other again and again and again. And there was a craving for relationship education. Most people didn't grow up observing healthy relationships. The topic is completely neglected in our educational curriculums. Everything that could help you have an epic love life is not talked about, from uh, conflict resolution, communication, consent, authenticity, self discovery, erotic wellness. Sex ed pretty much these days is completely non existent. And so there was a craving, and good thing that we saw in 2014 is TED Talks became popular. We could start to see Esther Perel, Gay and Katie Hendricks, Helen Fisher, Dr. John Gray, and people began to study love. And so in We Deepen, my organization, we bring all of those experiences into one hub, sort of like what ClassPass did for the fitness industry. We're doing that for the human connection industry, to shine light on all of these experiences and practitioners that can be supportive of you having a healthy love life. When I started doing dating work, I was 33. I had produced 3 concerts and a crowdfunding campaign in an 8-month period of time, living in New York City. And at the end of that stretch, my mother asked me if I was dating anybody. I looked at her with this blank stare, like, dating anybody? Did you not see what I just did? Where do you think this man is hiding? And I realized within that question, we have to inject energy and our desires. And I was showing up nowhere in the universe. I was open, willing, interested in a relationship. And that's when I started hosting these dating experiences, because I didn't want to participate in the dating apps. And for the past decade, it has definitely been a transformational journey as I've embarked on a lot of the coursework that we support. Discovering, like, doing everything wrong in love, I did. When Brene Brown first started preaching vulnerability, I was like, okay, I'll go out on a date and I'll tell him about all my childhood woundings, as opposed to thinking about vulnerability in the real moment, like in real time. Telling somebody like what I'm experiencing has become such an edge and also such a practice, that when I do work one-on-one with somebody, that's oftentimes they're coming to me and they're telling me like they're like experiencing with somebody in intimacy, and that they're hoarding from them. They're like nervous to tell that person, because they're nervous in the way that it's going to hurt them. They're going to lose connection. They're going to feel rejected. And we role play those scenarios and situations. I am now 42. I thought that I would be married and have babies by now. You have society that's telling you about, growing old, and when you get in your 40s, you should have frozen your eggs by now. But dropping more into a state of trust in my own journey. Again, each of us are going to have a completely different intimacy journey this lifetime. And it is, and I've noticed for my own self, like during the pandemic when we were shut down and kind of locked in our homes, I felt this like more of an urge to like, where is he? Where's my partner? But when I'm in states of being in community with, and feeling like I'm growing and I'm a part of something bigger, that that urge, that yearning sort of dissipates a bit. And I am, you're feeling more free and connected, and there's more fun and playfulness. So I'm loving my intimacy journey. I even about 2 years ago sat with Andy Cohen on a TV show called X-Rated with 3 of my ex-boyfriends, where they had rated me ahead of time. And then we sat on pretty much live TV. This is on the Peacock network, where they revealed the ratings that my ex-boyfriends, had of me, and then lined them all up and asked me if I wanted to get back together with any of them. Let's say that somebody is aiming to experience intimacy in their world, and maybe they don't have a partner. They're currently single. When you go to an experiences, and these are, transformational, you're making a connection, here is a framework that you can use to support creating a container with somebody else to play, to create play partners. And it's so simple. You can use fears, desires, boundaries. So you take turns and go one by one of what are your fears in this connection that could come alive in this moment? What are your boundaries? And what are your desires? And just using that as a framework for connection helps you deepen, helps you feel safe. But oftentimes we stop connecting because we have these experiences where we don't align first before we end up in the bedroom. And so anything that you can do to open up that conversation to state your fears, desires, and boundaries will help you go deeper and feel safe in connection with another human being. Hi, I'm Christina Weber. I am founder of We Deepen, WeDeepen.com. I am also host of the Deepen with Christina podcast. My life's purpose is more meaningful, loving relationships worldwide. I also run a love club, the We Deepen Love Club, and it is a 6-month intimacy accelerator for those who are currently single and craving a more epic love life. It's peer-to-peer matchmaking, comprehensive relationship education, as well as accountability to your love goals. You can find all this information out at WeDeepen.com. The steps I like to bring in to deepen intimacy is the 4 principles of a conscious relationship. One is no attachment to outcome. Growth comes first. It doesn't mean you don't fantasize about what a connection could be. It means that you're more committed to being yourself and growing a connection with another human being than you are to where the relationship could go and what it could become. 2 is both parties agree to own their own shit. When you are intimately relating with another human being, expect all types of feelings are going to come up. Sadness, rejection, jealousy, shame, it's all going to rise, and that is owning your own shit. And number 3 is all feelings are welcome and no internal process is condemned. So you are free to feel it all and express it all and share that with another human being. And that is such an edge to be able to authentically share yourself with another human being without blaming them for your experience. And then number 4, when you are practicing intimacy, it is a practice of love. So practice love together and continue to ask yourself over and over and over, what would love do? What would love do? And this is, again, this process of removing layers of the ego coupled with ever increasing acts of sharing.